In this video we're going to make a presentation wine box. The idea that this box will house 2 bottles of wine, and we're going to put some features on the front of it which are pertinent to the presentation we're going to give to this person. In this case it's some signposts associated with a walk-in club. Anyway, I'll go into a bit more detail about that later on, but the wine box will measure about 320 millimeters in height and about 200 millimeters in width, and by about 100 deep, and that should house 2 bottles of wine. So first of all, we're going to start off by cutting up the pieces of timber, these 4 sections that go there, and it's going to have a slotted front cover which goes down the front. So we're going to use some spare floorboarding here, which is nice pine wood, and I've measured off the various sections that we need to cut, so we go ahead and start cutting those up. So really soon we have a groove there, so that when these 2 sections fit together we can insert a panel in here, and that will form part of the back of the wine box. Okay, the next stage is that we need to remove this groove off the which is the tongue off the actual floorboard there, because we don't need that, so we need a nice square in there. So I'll set the table saw up so that we can just take that off on each of the 4 pieces of wood, so we'll do that next. Next, what we need to do is to put a groove down the inner edge here, which will be part of the sliding drawer mechanism, which will contain the 2 bottles in position, and then you can slide this front plate out so that you can get access to the wine. You do 3 sides of these, because the panel will actually slide up into 2 sides and the end, and then the other one will be cut short so that it can pass over the top of it. So we just do that next stage. So with the 4 sides cut, what I've done now is to just clamp it together so we get some idea what the box will look like, and also it gives us an opportunity to check that it's all square, and then we can then get the measurements for the insert panel which goes into the back section here. Right, there we have there's the box clamped together, not yet glued in position, and we have the rear panel which is going to fit snug inside those wheel bays which we've created from the tongue and groove floorboards. Now later on I'll show you how we're going to fill in these corner pieces so that it gives a nice... Right, so we're nearly in position now where we can start gluing this together. We've got 2 more stages. First of all, I need to drill 2 holes in the top of the box so that we can attach a cord for it to be carried with, and we're going to insert some biscuit joints in these corners here so that it makes it a lot easier once we glue it together and line it up. And then we have the 2 holes there to take the rope. Then we use the biscuit jointer. Right, now we're in a position to start the gluing up process. So these are our biscuits in there, so just a case of applying some glue in the groove and position it. So that's all glued up at the end. So we've glued that all up and clamped it up with some clamps now, and we're in a position where we can fix the back panel, and we'll go ahead and do that. So we've got some glue around the edges of the frame. Don't overdo this because we don't want it squirting out in too many directions. Just on the back edge. Position that in position over there. That's snug tight a bit. And then what we do, we just secure that with a few brads from the nail gun, just to hold that. The next job now is to make the sliding lid, which goes into the top of the box, in front of the box rather. And I'm taking a measurement across there, which worked out at 225mm, and it slides in there. So we just lock that right in, and then we can actually just scribe pencil marking across the top here, so we know how long it's going to be. We can now go and cut that in our scroll saw. Okay, so we've got the sliding drawer position that fits into there, and what we've made now is a small piece of wood that goes across the top so we complete the rectangle, and that will be glued onto the sliding front piece so that it's easy to just pull up. So we'll do that next. It's always a good idea to sort of just spread it out so you get a thin coat. That's in the position you want. And line that up. That's good. So just make sure that stays in place for a bit. We'll put a clamp on. Okay. And we'll just leave that to cook for a few minutes, or a few hours rather. And we can start now planning out what we're going to put on this display section of the box. So as I mentioned earlier on, this is designed to be as a presentation pack to someone who's been involved in walking and hiking. So we've made some signposts up, as I showed you on the original drawing, and here's some individual signposts there which we're going to put the person's name on, and a big thank you. And here's the other main post and an arrow going in that direction, basically saying the details of what it's all about. Now the next thing is we want to create an area where those who are presenting it can sign it to him. So this is going to be like a little cloud which goes in the middle there, and we've done that in some lighter coloured wood. And I'll just show you on the scroll saw how go about cutting that. See how that fits in on the main structure. So there we have the front sections all made now. So a signpost at the top with two directional pointing posts, and there's a cloud in the middle where everyone's going to sign their name, and this will give the details of what the presentation's all about. Okay, so the next thing we've got to do, once the glue's hardened off, we need to do some finishing off pieces around the edge on these side sections here. Now to fill in these empty sections where the rebate went in for the panel, all we've got to do is just make some small pieces of wood up, which we'll glue in position there, and the end grain virtually matches up, so once we've sanded it all up you hardly notice the difference. And, goes in. Doesn't matter if it sticks a bit proud because we can sand that off afterwards. So just a case of repeating that for all the little sections we need to do that in. Okay, now we've done all the corners, sealed the edges in, and sanded the whole box up, and as you can see it's now ready to actually start using the Danish oil on it, which brings out the real colour of the wood and obviously stops it getting dirty because it puts a bit of a shine on the actual wood itself. So I'll just show you that process there. Put it in a small dish, some Danish, and just literally apply on the side. You need to do several coats of this, but it's best to build it up slowly because you'll get a better finish that way. And rub it in quite hard as it goes in the grain. As you see straight away, you know, the grain really starts to come alive once you do that sort of treatment. So really to carry on now and finish that all over and give it several coats really. The more coats you give it, the better it's going to look. So here's the completed article, all polished up with its front cover on and a rope handle at the top, and most importantly inside you see the 2 bottles of wine, which look very elegant in this beautiful timber pine box. There we are, job done.